On Christmas Eve in 1945, the Sodder family's home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, burned to the ground under mysterious circumstances. The fire tragically claimed the lives of 5 children, but their bodies were never found. What followed was one of the most perplexing and haunting disappearances in American history. Over the years, the Sodder family's search for answers continued, but the case remains unsolved, leaving a chilling mystery behind. The Sodder family had been living a peaceful life in their two-story home in the rural hills of Fayetteville. George and Jennie Sodder had 10 children, ranging in age from 2 to 23. That Christmas Eve, they were celebrating the holiday together, decorating the tree, and preparing for a quiet night. But everything changed when a fire broke out in the middle of the night. Around 1 a.m., a fire broke out in the Sodder home, originating in the rear of the house. George and Jennie were immediately awakened by the smoke and flames. In the confusion, they rushed to save their children. George tried to break through the door to the children's bedrooms, but the smoke was too thick. Jennie and George were able to escape the burning building, but 5 of their children, Martha, 12, Maurice, 14, Louis, 9, Jennie, 8, and Betty, 5, were never seen again. When fire crews arrived, they found nothing but the smoldering remains of the house. However, something strange was immediately apparent. Despite the severity of the fire, no bodies were found in the ruins, even though it seemed certain that the children had perished in the flames. Firefighters assumed that the children's bodies had been consumed by the intense fire, and the official cause of death was recorded as fire-related. But the Sodder parents couldn't shake the suspicion that something was wrong. The first oddity came when George, in his grief and confusion, began to sift through the remains of the house. He found no trace of the children's bodies. At first, this seemed impossible, given the extent of the fire. However, after a detailed examination, he found no charred bones, no signs of the children's presence at all. There were no remains in the house, and no trace of them had been found in the surrounding woods or fields. This led George and Jennie to believe that their children might still be alive. In the days following the fire, the Sodders began to question the official explanation. The fire department's investigation had failed to provide any concrete answers, and many aspects of the incident didn't add up. For one thing, George had tried to use the phone to call for help, but the line had been cut earlier in the evening. This strange occurrence made George suspect that someone might have been involved in the fire, deliberately tampering with the phone line and setting the blaze. The more they thought about it, the more they became convinced that the fire had not been accidental. The mystery deepened when, just a few weeks after the fire, the Sodders began receiving strange phone calls. One night, a man called and claimed to have information about the children. He said that they had been taken by a group of people and that they were alive. The caller then hung up without offering any more details. This cryptic message only fueled the Sodders' suspicions that their children were still out there, perhaps hidden away somewhere. As the months passed, the family continued to receive odd messages. In 1946, George and Jennie were sent an anonymous photograph, which appeared to show their missing children. The photograph was taken in a distant city, and the children appeared to be in good health.